Nicola Sturgeon's push for Scottish independence is gaining pace after the SNP agreed the wording of alternative route to independence, which the party believes could clear the way for negotiations with Westminster next year. An SNP MP Angus MacNeil has reacted by taking to Twitter to crow, "There's a new game in town." Scotland's First Minister is pushing for Indiref 2 despite Scotland voting against quitting the Union 6 years ago, but UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has steadfastly refused her demands. The so-called Plan B motion drawn up by Mr MacNeil and SNP councillor Chris McElhenney has been agreed by Angus MacLeod, the SNP's National Secretary, clearing the way for it to be debated at the party's conference next month. If ratified, it would see the SNP adopt a policy whereby if Scotland votes in a majority of pro-independence candidates in next year's Holyrood elections, that will be regarded as a mandate to begin independence negotiations with the UK government, effectively turning next year's poll into a referendum in itself. Mrs. Sturgeon previously tried to secure a referendum via a Section 30 order, in reference to a section of the Scotland Act which permits Holyrood to pass laws in areas that are normally reserved to Westminster. However, in January UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson wrote to her formally rejecting her request. Mr. MacNeil tweeted, "With Sec 30 dead. New game in town." The motion criticizes the undemocratic approach of the UK government in denying the mandate of the Scottish government to give the people of Scotland a choice on their own future. It adds, "Conference calls on the Scottish government to establish the legal competence of the Scottish Parliament holding a referendum on Scottish independence without the approval of the UK Parliament." Conference instructs that if a referendum on Scotland's future is denied by the UK government and the competence to hold a consultative referendum is not established, then the manifesto for the 2021 Scottish parliamentary elections shall state that the election of a pro-independence majority of seats, in the absence of a referendum, shall be a mandate from the people of Scotland to commence independence negotiations with the UK government. Mr. MacNeil told Scottish newspaper The National, "The motion is needed now especially, to give hope to members and wider Scotland more importantly."